Welcome back. Today we will see about the introductions to NoSQL database. So NoSQL, the full form is not only SQL. It's a database and it is non-relational database designed for scalability, high performance, and flexible data models. They store data in format of key value pairs, documents, wide columns, or graphs instead of traditional tables. What is the limitations of relational database means? It has a fixed schema, it has limited scalability, and it has complex joins, the pure handling and unstructured data, big data handling limitations, all it has. For example, if you have a social media app with millions of users, it needs some scalable storage. The traditional RDBMS will be struggle to provide this like huge data storage. That's why we are using the NoSQL. Now we will see about the CAP theorem. So CAP theorem states that a distributed database system can satisfy at most two of the three properties. So CAP in consistency, availability, and partition tolerance. So the CAP theorem followed by some of the our DBMS things like MongoDB and Cassandra. These both are following the CAP theorem. So now the CAP theorem we can mention like this: consistency, availability, and partition tolerance. Okay, from here only is coming the term CAP. So, as I told you, three properties are consistency. That is, C. What is the meaning of consistency? Means every read receives the most recent write or an error, and all the nodes in the system have the same data at the same time. Availability means every request receive a known error response, but the response may not be most recent data. And P means partition tolerance. The system continues to operate despite arbitrary message loss or failure between the nodes. So this CAP theorem is very important in NoSQL. And here it is written with an example. Inconsistency example is if you are uploading a profile picture on server and another user views it immediately, they should be see the new picture. Okay, so that means whenever I am updating a new thing, that has to be suddenly it has to be reflected to the other people also. Availability means even if on server fails or the system respond with the data. Okay, that is called availability. Partition tolerance means if network splits or maybe due to some failure, both the parts can be still function. That is the term partition tolerance. Another one important property in the DBMS is called asset property. Asset property means atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. Atomicity means it ensures that all the operations within the transactions are treated as a single unit. Consistency in the sense it's guarantee that a transaction brings the database from one valid state to another. Isolation is ensures that concurrent transactions do not interfere with each other, it making each transaction appear as if it is the only one running. Durability, it ensures that once a transaction is committed, its changes are permanent and will not be lost, even if the system is failure. Okay, so that's only written. Atomicity means all or nothing, and it is a transaction should fully happen or not to be happen at all. Then consistency. Okay, it is a short things I written. The database should remain mainly current and valid after the transaction. Isolation means it has to be independently without affecting the other running at the same time. Durability means it's successfully completed and changes must be permanent. It's called durability. So in short, atomicity meaning is all or none. What is the example? Detect and deposit both happen in the bank. Consistency means data remains valid. Example, total balance will be same before and after. Isolation means no interface. Two transfers don't mix up. Fourth one is durability. Durability means permanent changes. It's saved even after the cache crash. Next, another property of this DBMS is base property. BASE. We can tell basically available, soft state, eventually consistent. Basically available means the system is almost always available to respond to requests. That is called a basically available, always available. Even if some parts are fail, user can still access the system. For example, if an e-commerce website still lets you know the browse product even if after one server will be down. Then soft state. It may be changed over the time without a new input because update can be take time to reach all. Eventually, constant means it's become consistent after some time once all updates are completed. It's eventually consistent. Now, this is a difference between acid and base I written. It mainly focus on acid property focus on consistency and reliability, where base properties mainly focus on availability and scalability. In the case of acid property, the constant will be immediate. Here will be eventual. The state will be stable. Here it will be soft. Use case will be banking. Here will be social media. And the example of acid properties MySQL Oracle. And here our base properties MongoDB and Cassandra. Okay, so that's only written here. So base versus acid property we can tell. Atomicity, consistency, isolation. Base will be basically available. Soft state eventually consistent. Okay. Now, what is another one property of DBMS is CRUD property. CRUD means create, read, update, and delete. The four basic operations. Create means add a new data to the database is called CRUD. For example, our SQL command insert into student table. That is the create. Then R means what retrieves or views the existing data. Select star from students. U means update. Update the student. Set name is equal to Priya where ID equal to 1. Okay, update it. Delete from the student where ID equal to 1. Delete. So these are the main four operations in the group. Okay. Now, what is the advantage of NoSQL means? NoSQL can handle the large volumes of data efficiency, a flexible schema, its horizontal scalability, and high performance. Example, social media platforms storing the post. Okay, so now we just look into all this like what is NoSQL, what is the advantage of NoSQL, what is the disadvantage of RDBMS, and what is the CAP theorem as a property, base property, and what are the advantage of NoSQL. So hope everybody got a small idea on about NoSQL. Thank you for watching.